Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Paul. Pleasure to have you, and it's been a great pleasure to host this particular channel, which is the Royal Bangalore Food. And today we're going to talk about 5 great trends on the new business idea in the year of 2023 and also in the future. Leveraging AI, ChatGPT, and the future is going to be really promising, especially for India. We are a thriving economy, so food is primarily the great social point to go ahead and get connected. And this is for those who really want to kickstart the initial ideas of those food joints and food ideas and food restaurants and themed restaurants and many other things which you'll have in mind. Today we're going to talk about 5 great ideas under the budget of 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees. We all know Bangalore has been a thriving city for local food businesses, and we see the realm of food has been laid out in this particular city. Starting from the VV Puram, the food street, we have the best breweries in town. That reminds me, if you not watched my brewery business from the pensioners paradise to what brewery city is all about, I leave it in the I button. You can obviously check it out. And currently we also talk about these businesses. Let's look at it in terms of how you can leverage through social media, going full-fledged on this to go ahead and fetch you and make money out of it. And the good thing is that I will also share the SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunity, and what is kind of threat that you'll have to go ahead and put this businesses. So not wasting further time, let's go ahead and let's deep dive in. Stick on with it. And if you made it till the deep end, I'll appreciate to go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification. I will be talking only about food, business ideas, creative thoughts, and also related to what's happening currently in the food aspects. Let's deep dive in. Stay tuned. The very first businesses that you can look at it to start between 1.5 2 lakhs, which is nothing but your cost, is the best high quality, certain ingredients and certain specific gourmet kind of a food truck business. Okay, food truck, yes, that's the number one businesses that you can look at it to kickstart currently in India, specifically in Bangalore, because we see a food truck businesses laid out everywhere. We have the Kayandi Bhavan, what we call it as the Talluvandi, so-called the street food vendor. It's all over, but then it's completely died down because of various reasons. You have issues with the cop, the society, the street. In Bangalore, there is no space, first of all, to go ahead and do this. But in spite of that, we have a lot of street vendors. Now, this is what I'm talking about, is to give the high quality gourmet kind of a cuisine, which will really help you to go ahead and do this in the food cart business, in the food truck business. Now, just to give you a small analysis, the food truck depends if you want to do a capital expenditure, one-time cost. You can actually go ahead. So as I was saying, the capital expenditure might be really on the higher side. It might just pinch your pocket. So I would suggest you to go ahead and look forward for a food truck which has already been used, that you can rent it out maximum to 38,000 to 50,000 rupees per month. I'm sorry, I'm just also suffering with cold. Bear with me. It's been quite a tedious weather in Bangalore. Everybody's having this cold and cough. All right, let's not digress. So while I was saying the food truck, right? So what is that 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees? All you need is that first thing is your truck. Making sure that the truck is in drivable conditions, making sure that you have your freezer, your cooking range, and also obviously the water is connected, because you need to have at least 5,000 liters of water, or probably 2,000 liters of water, because you might need to use it for drinking, obviously for cooking, and you can also go ahead and making sure that you have a driver. So you could be the driver which drives along, and you need a helper or so-called assistant cook who would actually end up cooking together. One might take the orders, one might cook and go ahead and do it, and later you can leverage it. Okay, so that's food truck. Baked precisely at this particular budget is very, very important, so that you stay profitable, and same time you can look at it in certain places that you can kickstart. So let's look at it in terms of the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunity, and what kind of threat that you have, specifically in Bangalore, if you are driving a food truck business or you want to kickstart a food truck businesses. So keep that in mind. To have a food truck is somewhere between 38,000 to 50,000 rupees on a rental model. It's ideally preferable that you go ahead and customize it according to your need. But then depends on since we spoke about the high quality gourmet food, it could be anything. Just to give you an idea, today everybody needs a pub based food, or so called the food which has been available in the pub sector, which is short eats, short bites, quickly to grab and go kind of a thing, like a burger or sandwich or quick nachos, or it could be French fries with a steak. You can look at fish and chips, which is a great primarily. So what in nutshell is going to be all fried items, basically fried food which can be quickly tossed so that you can go ahead and dispense it. So let's look at the strength quickly. It's basically, since you have a truck, which means that you can move around. So flexibility to go ahead and move to different locations. Ideally, I would suggest you to go ahead and park your vehicle, take permissions from the tech parks that we have in Bangalore. Most of the tech parks do have the food courts, but you need certain permission to go ahead and kickstart, because since you're using cylinder or a gas to go ahead and cook, your food truck might require certain kind of safety spaces. But ideally speaking, you can always tie up with your restaurants that if they want to cater. If they're not able to do the online delivery, you're probably not able to scale up to different location. So food truck can be one of those options wherein you can become a hub and a spoke model. The spoke model can be deputed in certain places. It could be the best thing is to go ahead and do it in your college area, or probably in your medical college area, because medical colleges primarily comes with the hospital. So that's a great effort to go ahead and put that food truck. Go ahead and brand yourself, because that people will talk about in the future. And also, since it's a lower startup cost, since we spoke about to kickstart, it's only two, right? Because there is no dishwasher, absolutely anybody else. You're just going to drive yourself, or probably the assistant cook, and you and your cook, or your so-called your assistant buddy, can actually go ahead and do the cashier. One can cook and go ahead and save, and making sure that it's not like a restaurant you're going to dine in. Yes, if you have a wonderful space in Bangalore, you have to fetch that space. Similarly, in other towns and cities. So ideally, it's going to be your catchment area is going to be college students, or you could look at it corporates, because corporates normally would dine out. Even though there is food court, it's just matter of 1 or 2 months, because since you're giving high quality gourmet, remember the menu has to be short eats, a very short menu, so that you can dispense the food ASAP. Maximum you should not have more than 5 minutes of time people to wait, because is that half an hour, that 45 minutes of time, the lunch time or the snacks time or that initial breakfast time, is where you can make a lot of money. So ideally, what kind of sales that you should look at it? So ideally, you should look at it somewhere between 50,000 rupees, right? So 50,000 rupees means you cannot go ahead and make it 300 to 400 rupees. It's going to be at least 100 to 200 rupees worth of menu pricing, so that you can go ahead and charge, and making sure that you have at least have 5 to 6 menu items, so that becomes an easy talk of the town. Since you're giving high quality gourmet, it could be a very good cheese, a bacon sandwich, or it could be prawns. So you work around that menu. If you really want to look at the menu, you can always go ahead and write to me. I would also suggest you the best menus specifically for the food truck. Keep it short and sweet, and keep your pricing low, because it's just going to be no software is required, no great labor, there's no dishwashing. So everything is going to be carry, go. And also best part is that if you're registering your company food truck, it's also great that you can stay in one location. If you get a permission in one place, you can also tie up with Swiggy and Zomato. That's another great feature specifically for the food truck businesses. And to leverage of all that you need to have is also about your social media account. Specifically, you go ahead and launch in Instagram and in YouTube. Talk about your food, quickly talk about your your videos that you plan to do, where you're located, where is your map journey is going to be. All these things can be shared live also in your Instagram post update and your stories. Create that that zip, and probably in terms of the talking of the town, invite few food bloggers to go ahead and talk about, provided, please keep that in mind, provided your food is a little bit high quality gourmet kind of a cuisine. Otherwise, if you're going to give a basic South Indian or a biryani joint, that's not going to work out, because you're not going to develop such kind of customers to go ahead and bill you for minimum 200 rupees. So if you're doing 50,000 rupees, that's a maximum output that you can do, and anything above than that is going to be a great feature. But having said that, since if it is 50,000 is your target per day, let's break it down. You need minimum of 200 customers coming in, spending around 200 rupees. Now that will fetch you 40,000 rupees yet. So look at it, how do you break it down, that 200 customers? Achieving this 200 customers is going to be a painstaking scenario. But having said that, since you can also tie up with your online orders, that will going to take away your kind of target sales here and there. But primarily focusing is where you go ahead and do your college. You can look at all the restaurant that you can tie up with. Probably you can cook there and go ahead and sell that food. Or probably you can also look at it, as I said, a lot of co-working spaces have come up. You can also tie up there, because 200 footfall is going to be easily coming in. It could be with the liquid, or what I'm going to say is coffee, tea, or a good smoothie, or a milkshake, or a juice. Pair it with very good food, especially with fried food. A little bit on the saltier side is going to really kick your businesses and drive your business model on this particular thing. Let's look at the weaknesses, or so-called the drawbacks of having a food truck. First thing is that since you're on a food truck, you have to always monitor the weather in town in Bangalore. As we said, the rainy season literally started in the month of May itself, supposed to be for the month of June. So you're going to have issues with your weather conditions. So making sure that you park it in such a way, you cover most of the aspects of weather, be it sunny or be it rainy, right? That's one thing. Second thing is that you have to undergo a lot of problems with your basic daily commuting with your cops, or probably with your places that you're actually you're stationed your food truck. It could be your corporate office, your co-working spaces. It could be colleges. You have to take those permissions, which means that you have to keep moving around. You're not stationed. So these are the problems that you have. And second thing is that is also competing with the other food trucks. Looking at you, there might another food truck propping up. But ideally speaking, my only suggestion is that look at the outskirts of Bangalore or any other town that you're living in. The route which goes towards your the other states, the interstates, so-called the NH, probably the highway, or you're looking at a flyover which connects towards all these outer ring roads or in Bangalore. That's the ideal place. After Devanalli, it's a great space. There are a lot of huge restaurants, but since you're giving high quality cuisines, people might actually stock in the car and stop the car and probably order. That's a great delivery model that you can actually look at it. But same time, as I said, it has its own cons. You might not be able to fetch that kind of customers looking at the weather and so on and so forth, because otherwise your cost goes up. You have to lay your tent, you have to work with your colleagues, or probably increase your food staff or your kitchen staff, and same time you have to work with your cops as well. So that's another thing. And also limited space for cooking facilities, just in case. Let's say you're able to churn only those 1,000 or 500 meals or food that you can dish out. That's the maximum that you can go, because that's the output that you can leverage from this particular module, because you have limited stocks of that you're carrying, your limited water that you're carrying. As I mentioned earlier, since you're tied up with few spaces, you can look at it, a cylinder extra, probably you can carry more food, and also look at water. But these are the primary resources that you might lack, or drawback, or so-called the weaknesses that you have in the food truck. Moving on, what are the opportunities? The best part is that about the collaborations that you can ever do with lot of events. Okay, now just look at it. Bangalore just opened up in terms of the live music is concerned. It might be just on the higher side to carry food. You might not able to leverage that food inside the venue, but you can always stuff your food and you can always come out. People, specifically when the IPL time, when the matches run really late, and you can look at it in any sector, right? Because nowadays you have even the Kabaddi League, you have the Badminton League. Recently I was just looking at handball, the handball, the netball which they play, even that has become a tournament. So any events that you can always collaborate, weddings, live event shows, it's always better and great a stall to go ahead and put up, because that's when you can always hike your prices and convert that drawbacks and weaknesses to leverage that particular sales. That's going to be an amazing thing. My only suggestion is that do not disclaimer, do not tie up with any of the event management. That is when you lose your customers and your priority. Otherwise, the food has to be so good that you can tie up. Do not look at it schools and colleges for their one-time event. If it is a 3-4 days of gala event, then I really appreciate it. You can go ahead and look at it. But having said that, it's going to be really painstaking for you to go ahead and collaborate with the event management team. The money there is absolutely not available. So you have to look at it something unique, something thought process, something a society or probably an event which has been at least 2-3 days of time, or gig or an IPL tournament or any other tournament which is happening in and around Bangalore. You should go ahead and leverage on those. So that's the greatest opportunity. As I mentioned, corporate offices, and again, I would not say catering opportunity, because since your truck is smaller in space, see, there are different sizes. Okay, one is that you have a Tata Ace vehicle starting from Omni or Eco that you can convert into food truck. You can have Tata Ace, then you have those a little bit on the truck side, then you get onto the tempo traveler, a massive setup of at least 10-15 feet that will actually carry a lot of food. Okay, you can also look at it in such a way. For example, it happened in my business in a catering model, wherever the food is to get excess, or the amount of excess food that can be taken over, and then you can sell it up. That's a great module that you can always look at the opportunity when you have a food truck business. What are the threats that you'll ever foresee, or when you look at it? One is that it's always your food cost is on the higher side, because since your capacity of output of food that you churn, it's always on the limited side, right? You can only buy so much of item, you can only buy grocery. The beauty about the food business is it's a yield business. Many of the stalwarts of many chefs don't give away the importance of yield. What is that yield? For example, if you're buying 1 kg rice, let's say if you're doing a jeera sambar, maximum is around 100 rupees that you can ever buy a sack, right? On a market, on a wholesale vendor. So if it is for a 25 kg sack, now it is 26 kg because of GST problem. Now the 26 kg, since you're buying only one sack and you're able to sell only 10 kg of rice, understand that the yielding process of every 1 kg is almost 2 kg of yield of cooked rice that you'll ever get. 1 kg of rice, 2 liters of water, all combined together with the cost of that yielding process. That is why everybody leverages on food. It's a yield benefits to the glory of God that you can ever earn. And if you're really smart guy, you can go measurable of units of if your ingredients, and then you can actually trickle down the entire food cost. So in the opportunity of threat in this particular business model is that you have a limited food cost that you can ever try on, because you're left with that particular target, and so that you can only churn, let's say 500, maximum of 1,000 per packs of food that you can ever churn. Another thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, you'll also have problem with the government regulations. Just in case if you're traveling here and there, you have to go ahead and talk to your cops, making sure that you handle that licensing processes, because your FSSI you will not get because you're not stationed in one place. There is no food quality that you can ever do, and also as a season it might really affect in terms of your weather is concerned, specifically where it's rain and really hot conditions if you're in open space. These are the problems that you have in a food truck businesses. So with that in mind, we finished the first subject. Let's look at the second important. Moving on is to how to grow in this particular business model, right? Very clear. You have to focus on a very unique value proposition of creating a unique menu which can attract a lot of customers. Today, what is attracting a lot of customers is the junk food, right? It's a fast food. For example, let's say the Kati roll, so-called the Calcutta roll. The menu, you have to sell it right. As I mentioned earlier, if you're really looking forward for the menu, I have so many things for the fried. This is very easy and simple that you can always do or look at. A lot of suppliers will give you the wholesome food today. Momos sells really well. You can work around with momos, you can work around with sausages. So create that unique proposition that will actually attract a lot of customers. And as I mentioned earlier, I've touched upon it, it's also about your social media platforms. At these days, your reel sells more than anything else, your short sells anything else. So leverage on social media, ladies and gentlemen, specifically for those entrepreneurs who, it's a hard skilled effort to maintain social media, because it takes the skin out of you. Believe me, you need a lot of good mental strength, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, a lot of thinking, creativity, because since you're dealing with food, you have to attract through the social media. Today you might have the entire the bikers community. Today you have a lot of biking community. You have the Mahindra Thar community. We have the Porsche, the biggest the what do you call cyclist. That's the greatest asset. People literally do cycling every weekend. So you can target all the great customers and target audience, provided you give a wonderful, unique, personalized menu which can attract customers, right? Social media, the other thing is, as I said, you also collaborate with local businesses that you'll ever do, and increase your customer base through that. And the last thing is that considering giving delivery services, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually talk to Swiggy and Zomato and tie up. If you're tying up, again, FSSI and GST matters a lot. For that, I've also done a very good program on my live session. You can actually look at it. What are the main points, or the main 5 important certificate or licenses required to go ahead and set up a food businesses. So that's another sacrosanct that you always should leverage upon. Okay. The second thing is that the great important business idea that you can ever do is also about healthy meal preparation service. Second thing is that healthy meal preparation services. The name itself gives it away in terms of what kind of food that you can ever deliver upon. Now, what is that healthy and convenient meal that you can ever do? Today, chapati is not convenient. It is not healthy, right? It has gluten. It might also spike your glucose. But if you pair it with a very good roll, instead of egg, you can always pair it with good herbs and greens, or probably your tofu or your paneer or cottage cheese or a protein, whichever can come in handy. You can wrap it up. That's a nothing like it business. Now, obviously, a salad bar that you can ever do. These are times which will not yield you so much of effort. It is just that a Russian salad, a Caesar salad, a Mexican salad, burritos, Indian food, sprout systems, any sprouts that you can do, brown chana, the black chana, or even the boiled peanuts. Anything can be customized into your salad. It's going to be a great meal preparation. The important thing here is to concentrate about the convenience. How convenient is that to go ahead and make this healthy prep? Now, this can be done through a cloud kitchen module, and we saw a lot of 2 or 3 companies in Shark Tank. By the way, just to give you another idea, Shark Tank is also coming in into this season. The beauty is that there's another channel called Geo Cinemas who's also leveraging on this funding businesses. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of you and me. As I said, the India is looking at a very diagonal, or so-called the 90-degree angle growth segment in various category, in various institutions. It's absolutely the right time to go ahead and start and kickstart your dream business ideas. So here I'm just sharing about the food because which is more passionate to me. With that in mind, if anybody wants to collaborate and wants to do a co-founder kind of a thing, you can always reach out to me. I have a fantastic business models that I've done it. I've kept it ready to go ahead. It's just that I need some help to do a lot of other things as well. But I am looking for a co-founder. So if anybody is there watching this, you can always give me a comment or give a shout out in my Instagram page as well, which is _Royal Bangalore Food. So second important thing is about the healthy preparation convenience meal. See, today everybody really wants to leverage. Beautiful thing about current scenarios that a lot of youngsters, since India is a youth at the age group between 18 to 35, which is a very really young crowd sector, the audience customer base is concerned, everybody is leveraging on the healthy aspects. Everybody is hitting gym, everybody wants to eat healthy prep or a healthy meal. We see a lot of companies in this space, but then you have to just space it here and there. So the biggest opportunity is going to be your social media. You have to show them what you're cooking. That's a beauty. Today video is all about video. Content is king. You have to be under the shorts, you have to be under the Instagram reels, not TikTok here, but then these two, primarily you have to leverage it and showcase your food of your culinary expert that you do for your healthy preparation meal, because this will take away a whole lot of your customer base. You can actually develop a whole lot of scenario. So to set up this is again between a budget of less than 2 lakh rupees. Understand, you can actually look at it as a cloud kitchen concept. You don't require any major equipment is concerned. It's going to be more of a vegetable cutter which you can buy or in Amazon and utilize it. And just to give you a small hint, you can actually also buy a very good dehydrator and work wonders out of it. That's my greatest passion, to go ahead and do a lot of jerky with meat, with red meat, with white meat, with seafood, with You can also innovate on the, you would have seen very of late, last 2-3 years, we had a lot of okra, the Gokul food which has come up with okra, the dry bindi. We had a lot of chips from beetroot, your radishes which is made very thinly sliced and all dehydrated foods. Very healthy, like chips you can always conveniently offer and eat. And as I said about salad bar as well, you can work around your convenience meal for a healthy setup. The only primary goal here is to understand the strength is that you have to package it very well, not by using your plastic or any other food graded, because since you're giving vegetables or a salad, let's say for example salad, it has to be as fresh as possible. So in this case, the only thread that I oversee is your packaging material, and there's no weakness as such because you'll have a limited customer base is what I understand. Now not everybody is going to eat healthy, right? It's going to be one time, two time. Even though it's an expensive site, you can actually work around your cost in terms of your leaves that you're able to buy. It could be arugula leaf, it could be spinach, it could be looking at basils, it could be looking at a lot of Indian greens that is available, specifically what I call it as the dill. The dill leaves you can actually work around with amazing setups. You can work around with steam tapioca or probably any healthy vegetable that you can also work around with. That's enough. I mean, it's a huge ocean out there for a healthy prep. In nutshell, is absolutely very clear. The strength is that you're going to have an amazing salad bar because of this growing demand of healthy eating habits, specifically in Bangalore and in thriving business model of India. Everybody wants leverages that, and the best part is that you can actually go ahead and do a subscription-based model on this concept. Please understand that. Those are the important things. The weaknesses is that I would say just a quality and consistency of standardization you cannot do under the belt. But to solve this is very clear, you have to use a lot of vinaigrette, making sure that you have your own sauce, your own mix to go ahead and beat this up, because it's going to be very simple here. It's going to be a lot of iceberg lettuce, red lettuce, cabbages, a lot of herbs, as I said, very few nuts here and there. It's concerned pine nuts. While I was in Dubai, the pine nuts made a lot of differences, specifically in salad is concerned. So that's another aspect. And obviously your dressings, all your dressings, vinaigrette dressing, your Russian salad, your Caesar salad, whatever dressing that you do, it has to be kept ready. You can put it, mix it up, put it in a nice packaging box. Ideally, I would suggest use your steel box, since it can be a recurring business model. So making sure that you have a wonderful packaging systems, so that they can always come back to you and refill this product, so that you don't waste money on your packaging. And the biggest threat in this is about your the daily trends. People keep changing. You can still innovate it, but there's a lot of food cost involved in this. There might be not that great of food wastage, but yes, you will have internal food wastage because you have to use a lot of outputs on your vegetables, on your fruits, on your dairy. Everything goes for a waste there, right? Let's say if you're trying to do entire vegetable, so every vegetable has to be cleaned and cut. So there'll be humongous of wastage with your fruits and vegetable. The shell, the outer skin is concerned. So those are the problems in this particular which I foresee. But apart from that, it's a very slow module to grow. This is in terms of weakness is concerned, because not everybody is going to order you every in and out. Not like biryani, not like your burgers or your junk fried food. If you have a limited customer base, your niche customer base who's really looking forward for it, do a subscription-based model. Price your salads, your healthy preparation meal. It could be anything. I'm not saying only salad. I'm just giving you about salad. Salad is more complex. There are so many other meals. As I said, you can always write to me. I can share the menu. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the important thing of third aspects, which is the artisanal bakery. This I really like to talk about it. My favorite about the breads. The Indian breads is the chapati, your naan, your kulcha. That's not the bakery. Yes, you can leverage that. With that, I saw a whole lot of things in Arabic baking. Kubus, your Pakistani rotis, your sesame roti, everything is under the bakery. But then in Bangalore, it doesn't work like that. Bakery is more of a mallu joint who sells patties and puffs and samosas. In combined with your juices, that's about bakery, right? Here it's very clear. I'm talking about the artisanal bakery, making sour breads, making baguettes, making sure that you sell a lot of Danish baked sweets bakery. So there's a huge demand for bakery in Bangalore is concerned. There are large old players who have been quite a while from 1950s, 1960s, 1980s. I go to a few bakeries like Tom's out here and famous. We have the Iyengar bakery, which has been famous. We have So many bakeries also, they buy breads from all over. There are a lot of bread manufacturers, but not to an extent where you can make artisanal style, like a French style, like a French loaf style, or a Korean bread, milk bread as such, sandwich bread. So many opportunities are there for the artisanal bakery. In this case, is only you require is your labor, and all these things can be, you can buy second-hand items. In terms of your oven is concerned, I know a pretty good bakery under the village. They make a puff, so called, we call it as puff, your egg puff or patty in your language in North India. It's worth around 10 rupees, man. That's about it. The great puff, very good quantity, let's say about 100 grams of oats or so. So there is a great potential that if you can do an artisanal bakery. Recently we saw the Obramas coming in, making brownies out here. Great stuff. You have cheesecake factory which has come up all over. That's another thing. There are a company which I know from Shark Tank sells cakes from Delhi through Bangalore only through air medium logistics. That's a great opportunity again, because cheesecake itself is a great artisanal stuff. Not everybody could pull out the entire cheesecake the way it's supposed to be made. So such bakery can be leveraged here. Again, we have a lot of opportunities, catering services. We can look at a lot of events. Corporates, specifically with catering companies, do not have their own bakery. So if you can do it on a large scale, plus sell it here, so it's going to be a great opportunity. All within 2 lakh rupees, you have to know. The only threat here is that since you might have different customer base coming in, because starting from young and the old, if you look at the Iyengar bakery, they've stocked from the small apple cake till whatever is required. Huge costing. They have the sandwich bread which is around 90 rupees worth. It gets sold out. The breads, the cakes, everything can be leveraged in the artisanal bakery under 2 lakh rupees. You're trying to create that market only for the specialty store, wherein not only those Mangaloreans will walk in or the Keralites will walk in, it's also the other people gets to know that, because you're stocking one of the originalities of that product, which you'll eventually buy from a local market. You'll source it from there and sell it here. So your pricing module is great. You'll have a lot of walk-in customers coming in every now and then, and you can also tie up with a lot of other businesses who are in the same field. For example, if you're stocking a Mangalorean food or a Kurgi food, you can actually look at it, the whole realm of Mangalorean restaurants, caterers, or whoever it is, Mangalorean joints, your Mangalorean. So there are 3-4 communities, right? One is a Konkani Catholic, when you have a Konkanas, then you have a Shettis out there, then you have Pujaris out there, then you have the Beris out there. There's so many thriving community. Under Mangalore, you can actually divide down so much of sectors of, the sects, or what do you call, the different people. I mean, I had a ball in Mangalore. That's exactly I could talk about it. Mangalore is the right speciality for me, that I've seen so many connects out there. Shettis, the Rais, the Konkanas, the GSPs, your Brahmins out there, your Ayers out there, basically your Beris. Absolutely, the Muslim cuisine out there, and you have the Kundapura, you have the Udupi style, you have the Mangalorean Bhatkal style, the Mulki style, the Kasargod style. God, man, the list just goes on and on and on and on. So a super specialty grocery store is a kickoff, a trade-off, huge trade-off currently, which you should leverage. In Bangalore, I have seen personally a lot of Mallu store which has come up. They're only branding Mallu store, starting from the rice, your kokum, your tamarind, all authentic, related to Kerala. It's available there. I mean, there's a Chinese potatoes which is not available anywhere in Bangalore, but you'll get it there. The best dry fish of prawns, of your Bombay dogs, of your shark, every dry fish is available in that area. It could be dry fish, it could be pickled sometime, it could be even a convenience food, which is all been masala. Similarly, you have a whole lot of oils. The entire Ayurvedic is also another segment inside the store. So I can actually break it down to the beautiful segment of strength. There is no weakness as such. The only weakness I just see is a price point, because since you're sourcing from your local state or from that particular place, the logistics, the landing cost might be on the higher side. So you have to brand, you have to have a lot of labor to work around with. And sometimes not all the items are available 12 months of time. So it's a seasonal products. So these are things. And a super specialty store, it can actually leverage a lot of sales, my dear. I mean, I was selling a lot of wine from a place in Mangalore, authentic wines. Okay, believe me, I had to sell out. I sold out in a few months. The biggest thing which I ever sold was the bird eye chili wine. Since I ran out of it, the one gulp would have solved my entire cough and cold. Imagine the bird eye chili. One of the second most dreaded chilies all over the world. The Scoville level is so high. Apart from the Naga chili, I would still consider the bird eye chili. We call it as in Malayalam we call it as Kandari Molugu, and in Kannada we call it as Jirige Menshinkai. It's pretty small, less than an inch or so. So you made a wine out of it. You have beetroot wine. You have the leaf, the palm leaf wine. Then you have gooseberry wine. You have ginger wine. Wine can be paired with fantastic. So there are authentic players in that particular state. You can always go ahead and leverage and sell in the super specialty store. You have to have very strong social media for this, because you can actually leverage and get those people who are really interested to making sure that you have their own authentic cuisine. The beauty is that you can sell the fresh masalas out of it. Few masalas, few chilies, specifically in Mangalore I've seen. The Aldano chili, they call it as, or so called the Bedige chili, something different. It's absolutely different color in nature. No any proliferation, no any additives. Just sheer the red chilies, just blood red kind of a gravy. Amazing. So you can actually do a coarse masalas that you can sell powder and wet paste. You can package it up. I know a lot of players who are selling that in Mangalore and exporting it. You can actually look at that. So super specialty model store, the grocery store, it's a great fourth point that you can always look at it. The only thing that I foresee is that your cost, the only thing is the cost, I would say, But the amazing tips to grow this business model, it's all about your tying up. As I said, you can do collaboration with a lot of restaurants who sell this particular product, right? For example, if it is coconut milk, so I would be launching my own brand of coconut milk under the brand called the White Gold. So I would go ahead and do this. So I would cater to Tamil Nadu, the Indian, Thai, Kerala cuisines, wherever coconut milk can be used, especially for those vegans, right? So currently, the vegan is a trend. So vegan, we can also target. So that's another huge ambition. Do a super specialty model store. That's about fourth point. Okay. The fifth and the greatest point that I will always talk about, it is very close to me, is about the specialty food subscription box, so called the Dabbawala. Today we have good players. We have Fresh Menu, we have Box 8, but they're not able to leverage. So I know one of my previous bosses. I had a Dr. Rupa Ramaswamy. Doc wanted always ayur-based food without garlic and without onions, similar to the Jain food, similar to Gujarati's food. A lot of, as I said, expats are present in Bangalore. They might look at a super food subscription box model, or catering authentic to their cuisines like Gujarati cuisine, or Bengal cuisine, or an Odia cuisine, or a Punjabi cuisine. Even for the matter of fact, South Indian cuisine. Everybody misses the home meal. The food subscription, it is completely commercialized right now. It's a little bit on the steeper side, provided you have, you can do a lot of tie-ups. But on a nutshell, I'm just leaving up to this. A super meal subscription box model can actually leverage a lot of great potential to kickstart this business for a longer period of time. That's the important aspect. It's a subscription model. It's a 6 months or a 1 year meal plan. You'll be completely busy just packing, and you can go ahead and leverage this. Because you can do online delivery system. There were Swiggy had started this, Ola Food had started this. Zomato is doing now intercity travel. A lot of catering companies looking at this. So you can actually do a huge collaboration model of a meal subscription box. It could be for your society itself, where you're living. That's a great ambition. Everybody likes to eat your food, provided you're in good and one authentic food. So I would say currently Chinese and the Thai food, which has been literally growing leaps and bounces. Vietnamese food has caught up. Japanese sushi food has caught up. So you can make a meal subscription box day to day, because Japanese has this grab and go, which is very similar to the street food that we have, but there's epitome of hygiene along with that. Is a great story that you can always create. So with that in mind, we looked at 5 aspects. One is that the meal subscription box, super specialty model store. We have the food truck businesses. Then we had the artisanal bakery, and the last one is that the healthy meal preparation as well. So in terms of salads and so on and so forth. So 5 great business tips. I would appreciate to go ahead, and if you're watching till deep then, hit that smash button of that bell, like and follow, and please do subscribe. It does a world to me. If you have any more further questions, how do you want to put this in the business plan, you can always reach out to me in a comment section, or take my email ID in About Us page. You can put me in the Instagram, just ping me. I would be there able to answer. So I leave it up to that. I'll appreciate. Thank you so much for sticking by. It's a pleasure to host. This is Paul signing off. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.